wanted to see how long you'd let me stay here. So, hi everybody. My name is Wes Garnett. This is my team here, Matt and Sonny. We worked on Kurbi this weekend. Thanks. So, I don't like talking to my mom. Not because she's a bad lady, not because we don't get along, but my mom has MS. And MS is a really, really complicated disease. And when I talk to my mom, it's not always a positive experience. So because of that, I started looking at how we could maybe solve that. But before we did that, we had to figure out what problems were, right? So like I said, MS is really complicated. Symptoms just come out of nowhere. You don't know really what's going to happen. But what we found was that physical activity sustained over time really might be something worth looking into. So you would think that when I talk about MS, I'm talking about the gentleman here in the wheelchair, but I'm not. I'm actually talking about all 5 of these guys up here. It could be any one. And at any moment, for any reason, anything from diet to not having enough sleep to weather, to cold weather, to extreme hot weather, any one of these gentlemen can switch places at any point in time, any day. They don't know why, they don't know when. So we looked at Kurbi, right? So Kurbi is basically Endomondo and Nike Plus sort of slapped together. But the problem is they don't account for people like the guys in the last slot. So what we wanted to do, just like these guys, is track their track results around their physical activity. We wanted to allow them to manage their activities, and then we wanted to allow people to share their progress with their friends and family. We're going to go ahead and look at a demo of the product, so just so you can get a look at what we've worked on.
Great, so we're going to do just a demo up here on the screen. I suppose your phone, if you could run it either way. So, for an individual or a trainer who's going to be at the gym with somebody or at home, this is an app they can basically come into, and they're going to want to do some different kinds of exercises. So the app provides the ability to find exercises. If they do something regularly, they can kind of have a list that they keep track of what they've been doing. So let's say, for instance, they want to do arm curls. If they're on their own, maybe they're not sure exactly what they can do, they can watch a demo, they can actually learn to use the step-by-step. So they actually be using their phone along with the exercises so we can track how things are going. And then if they want to begin, this would basically let them start, and then Sunny actually has the second part of the demo.
This actually is a working prototype. I haven't done arm curls in a while, so it might be a little different. So if I start, it's going to count. It has to be vertical, otherwise.
Yeah. So after completing some reps, they can either share this with the world, or so then at that point, it's great. They can share that with friends and family, post it to Facebook, post it to Twitter, continue on. They can do some more. Once they finish, back at the home screen, kind of get a sense of what they've done for today. One of the key things we heard from going out talking with someone who has MS was that any kind of environmental factors can play a part. And keeping track of those is really important for how they feel each day. So a way to basically keep track of how they feel each day, along with their exercises. They actually share their whole day's worth of exercises. And down here at the bottom, get a sense of keeping track of those things over time.
So now I'll introduce you to a really, really delightful lady that we met. Her name is Vicki George. And Vicki George, this is her. She racquetball, biking, hiking, basketball, women's major league fast pitch. I mean, she's done a whole lot, but this is actually Vicki today. In just a few short years, Vicki has basically progressed to, she's a quadriplegic. She actually can't move at all. But what she's actually done over those last couple of years is work with her trainer, and she's actually able to do small exercises. So you'll see her here working with her arms. She actually can do leg press now. That's actually a huge, significant. I don't know. Well, today we actually had a chance to demo the product with her. We met her at the gym. And she was actually able to use the product, and she cranked out 15 leg press. That was huge. And in the past, she had no way of telling anybody that she was able to do anything. And now with our product, she can instantly tell her friends and family that she's progressing and they can actually take a part of that with her. So now they're having a positive experience around MS, whereas in the past, people like myself speaking with my mom always had a negative experience. She's a part of a company called Yes You Can. What we've done with her is basically, that's it. That's it.
So can you share with us some of your ideas about how you would distribute this product?
Yeah, so basically, Vicki George she's the president of Yes You Can, and essentially we are going to be partnering with organizations like hers, giving her access and all of the people that work with her access to the app. So right now we don't exactly know how we monetize, but we know that going to larger corporations gives us the opportunity to grab a lot of users. And we know that these users need this, because in the past, like I said, there's not really been a great way for people like myself to interface with my mom. There's not really been a great way for PTs to interface with their clients either, because symptoms change every day. They don't always know how to sort of navigate around that. So what this app allows for is, it allows them to sort of see when people hit fatigue. It allows them to start to track the results that they haven't really been able to track in the past. And not only that, now they're building a community around their progress, and they're not really looking at the negative issues all the time. So those three, the three things that we're highlighting here are actually things that we've been able to match up from our problem statements to things that the app can do, to things that we're actually able to provide. The largest part of this is that Vicki's now able to use the results with her corporations, actually able to use the results to go to put on her grant applications. So when she's looking to raise more money for her nonprofit, she's actually able to show that progress is being made, when in the past she's only been able to do that longhand, sporadically, with some people, not all. Again, because of the symptoms with MS, there is no cure, there is no prevention, it actually has no end in sight. There's never an end to MS, there's never an improvement with MS. But what she can improve is people's quality of life. And they do end up getting a little bit stronger. And you see people like Vicki that went from not being able to move at all to progressing to small leg press. But in the past, there was no way to really document that and show it.
How much do you think it's going to cost to get this product completed on the market?
We have a few more things we'd like to do and work on with her and her team, and it would cost us anything between $8 to $10 grand, or even less than that. It's probably a little bit more inflated just for some things we don't know about.
One point on that, maybe when we talked with her, she said she actually has had a couple things fall through with the University of Delaware recently, where she's been wanting to be able to capture data and do something with the researcher here, and that hasn't come through. So she looked at this and said, maybe we can do it with this instead. And so
in the partnership he's alluding to is not only is it for her corporations, but it's actually for Christianity Care. They've been really trying to solve the problem for a couple years for the reasons that I mentioned, that there's no way of tracking measurable outcomes with MS. And no one else is really trying to solve it because the symptoms they come out of nowhere. But if they can have data to sort of rely on, and they can match that data to symptoms that people are feeling, especially as you've seen in the app, how they're feeling that day. Those are important metrics. So they can look over time and sort of see the trends and see how people react to different things and start to provide better care.
Yeah, and I think we kind of saw this as kind of the first in maybe a series of apps, and this one was actually had a few things that were specific for MS, because it's long-term, it's just about keeping up on a daily basis and talking with a trainer, and people who have stroke or people trying to actually rehab, there'd be a different setting, same kind of functionality, but some different tweaks we kind of put out for different conditions. It would be about actually progressing them back to the state that they were before. It means there's actually progression and improvement, whereas MS, where we started, is more just a consistent, keeping them on a daily basis, keeping their exercise so they maintain as opposed to degrade.
Right. And what Vicki told us is that the maintenance piece is so important, because what happens is when they're not active, they get secondary symptoms like depression, like obesity, like other things like that, because they're disconnected from a community. They're no longer motivated to do anything, because like Vicki, you go from being a stellar athlete and you watch slowly as things are stripped away and you're left to live your life in a wheelchair. But watching people progress, because they're posting in a social atmosphere, they're posting their progress, they're able to see that other people are doing things. And me, like myself, I never really had a way of saying to my mom, hey, things are awesome for you. I'm glad you did that today. I'm glad you walked 100 more steps than you did yesterday. I'm glad you did 50 more squats this week than you had been able to do a month ago. I had no way of even knowing that. My mom loves Zumba, by the way, and that's really the only way that we can talk about MS, because other than that, it turns into, well, my back is hurting, my knee is hurting, and I'm like, Mom, you look fine. I don't understand what your problem is. I don't even know how to sympathize with that, but I hope you feel better. Oh, and here it is. Yeah, so this is Vicky, and that's her trainer. She's actually holding the app, and she's smiling because it's actually counting. And she can hear it, but there was too much gym noise in the background in the video to even capture that.
Thanks.
Yep.